Israel lives with a profound secret, one that it never speaks about but always implies. This secret is its nuclear weapons program, a capability that is widely believed to exist, but has never been officially confirmed. The nation follows a strict policy known as nuclear ambiguity, or sometimes nuclear opacity. This means that Israel will not be the first country to introduce nuclear weapons into the Middle East, but it also will not confirm or deny that it already has them. This careful choice of words leaves the world guessing. It's a strategy designed to deter enemies without starting a regional arms race, creating a powerful yet unspoken threat that hangs over any potential conflict. This policy of deliberate silence serves multiple purposes for Israel's national security. On one hand, it acts as the ultimate insurance policy, a last resort to ensure the survival of the state against overwhelming conventional forces. The unconfirmed nature of the arsenal means that any country considering an existential attack on Israel must calculate the possibility of a devastating nuclear response. This creates a powerful deterrent effect. On the other hand, by not officially declaring itself a nuclear power, Israel avoids the international sanctions and political pressure that would surely follow. It can maintain its international relationships without the complications that come with being a declared member of the nuclear club. The policy is often referred to as the Samson option, a reference to the biblical figure Samson, who brought down a Philistine temple upon himself and his enemies. The name suggests a willingness to use these weapons as a final act of retribution if the nation's existence is threatened. This psychological component is crucial. It sends a clear message to adversaries that there is a red line that cannot be crossed. The ambiguity forces enemies to assume the worst-case scenario, making them far more cautious in their actions. It is a high-stakes game of strategic silence, where what is left unsaid is just as important as what is said. For the international community, Israel's ambiguous status is a source of constant debate and unease. Countries in the Middle East see it as a double standard, as they face intense scrutiny over their own nuclear ambitions, while Israel remains outside the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT. This has complicated efforts to create a weapons of mass destruction-free zone in the region. Global powers must navigate this delicate reality, balancing their alliances with Israel against their non-proliferation goals. The silence from Jerusalem forces the world to operate on assumptions, making diplomatic calculations more complex and the region's stability more fragile. The quiet power of the unconfirmed arsenal shapes the geopolitics of the entire world. The story of Israel's nuclear program begins in the secrecy of the Negev desert in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Under the leadership of its first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, Israel embarked on a clandestine project to develop the ultimate deterrent. With assistance from France, construction began on a nuclear research center near the town of Dimona. To the outside world, it was presented as a textile factory, or maybe a meteorological station. This deception was vital to avoid international oversight and condemnation. The goal was clear from the start: to create a weapon that would guarantee the nation's survival in a hostile neighborhood, ensuring that the horrors of the Holocaust would never be repeated. Throughout the 1960s, the project advanced in deep secrecy. Israeli scientists worked tirelessly to master the complex technologies required for nuclear fission and weaponization. The nation's leaders believed that a conventional military advantage might not be enough to secure its future. They needed a weapon so powerful that it would make any enemy think twice before launching an all-out war. By the time of the Six-Day War in 1967, it is widely believed that Israel had assembled its first rudimentary nuclear devices. This hidden capability provided a psychological backstop, a secret strength that emboldened its leaders during a time of extreme peril. The partnership with France was crucial in the early days, but it eventually frayed under international pressure. Israel then continued its work largely alone, demonstrating a remarkable level of scientific and engineering prowess. The nation managed to build a plutonium reprocessing plant at Dimona, allowing it to extract the key ingredient for nuclear bombs from the reactor's spent fuel. This independent capability was a major milestone, freeing Israel from reliance on foreign partners and allowing it to control its own nuclear destiny. Every step of this journey was shrouded in layers of denial and misdirection, creating a legacy of secrecy that continues to this day. By the late 1960s, Israel's nuclear capability was an open secret among the world's intelligence agencies, even if it was not public knowledge. The United States, initially concerned about the program, eventually reached a quiet understanding with Israel. The agreement was simple. The United States would not pressure Israel to sign the NPT, and in return, Israel would not publicly declare its nuclear status or conduct overt tests. This "don't ask, don't tell" policy cemented the foundation of nuclear ambiguity. It allowed Israel to maintain its deterrent while permitting the United States to pursue its non-proliferation agenda elsewhere. A delicate diplomatic balance that has defined the relationship for decades. On September 22, 1979, an American satellite named Vela 6911 detected something extraordinary over the southern Atlantic Ocean. The satellite was designed specifically to spot the telltale double flash of light that signifies an atmospheric nuclear detonation. In the dead of night, its sensors registered exactly that signature, originating from a remote area near the Prince Edward Islands. The event, which became known as the Vela Incident, immediately triggered alarm bells within the United States government. The data strongly suggested a low-yield nuclear test between 2 and 3 kilotons had occurred. The question was, who was responsible for this secret explosion? Suspicion quickly fell upon two nations, South Africa and Israel. At the time, the two countries maintained close military and intelligence ties, united by their shared international isolation. South Africa's apartheid regime was known to have its own nuclear weapons program, and the location of the flash was near its territory. However, many analysts believed that South Africa did not yet have the advanced capability to conduct such a test on its own. The more plausible theory was that this was a joint test, with Israel providing the technical expertise and perhaps even the device itself, while South Africa provided the remote and secret location for the test. The official investigation conducted by the Carter administration was inconclusive. A panel of scientific experts concluded that the signal was likely not from a nuclear explosion, suggesting it could have been caused by a micrometeoroid hitting the satellite. However, many in the intelligence community and the scientific world disputed this finding, viewing it as a political decision to avoid a diplomatic crisis. Acknowledging an Israeli nuclear test would have forced the United States to impose sanctions under its own non-proliferation laws, damaging a critical alliance. The official explanation was convenient, but it failed to convince many who had seen the raw intelligence data pointing toward a nuclear event. The Vela incident remains one of the most compelling, yet officially unresolved mysteries of the nuclear age. For proponents of the theory that Israel possesses nuclear weapons, it is a crucial piece of evidence. A successful test would have been a final, critical step in proving the reliability of their weapon designs. Although both Israel and South Africa have always denied any involvement, the circumstantial evidence remains strong. The flash of light in 1979 served as a brief, illuminating glimpse into a world of secret alliances and hidden arsenals, reinforcing the belief that Israel's nuclear program was not just theoretical, but fully operational and tested.